You ask what she listens to, and she tilts her head, her eyes bright but distant. The string, she says. It sings. It tells stories. You lean forward, intrigued. You ask what kind of stories, and she smiles, clutching her flowers tighter. Old ones, she says. About love and waiting and promises that hurt. You feel a chill, not from the air, but from the weight of her words. You ask if she's heard the story of the woman who made the string. Aiko's smile fades, and she looks at the Koto, her expression unreadable. She was sad, Aiko says softly. She loved someone who left. She made the string so they'd come back. But they never did. Your heart aches at her words, and you wonder if this is the same story Kenta told, the one Ren and Hana hinted at. You ask Aiko who the woman was, but she shakes her head, her ribbon swaying. It's not my story, she says, echoing Ren's words. But you'll know soon. The string always tells. You glance at the Koto, the thick string seeming to pulse in time with Aiko's voice. You ask if she's ever touched it. Her eyes widen, and she steps back, clutching her flowers to her chest. No, she says quickly. It's not for me. It's for someone who's ready. You want to ask what she means, but she turns, her small figure slipping toward the Torii gate. Wait here, she says. Someone else is coming? Before you can respond, she's gone, her flowers leaving a faint trail of petals on the ground. You sit alone, the shrine's silence pressing against you. The Koto's hum grows louder, almost insistent, and you feel a strange urge to reach for the string. But Aiko's words stop you, her warning mingling with Hana's and Ren's. You stand, pacing the shrine, your thoughts a tangle of questions. Who was the woman? What did she lose? And why does the string feel like it's calling your name? Footsteps crunch on the gravel outside, pulling you from your thoughts. You turn expecting Aiko, but it's Yuna, her silver-streaked hair catching the light. She carries a small lantern, its glow warm against the shrine's shadows. I thought you might be here, she says, her voice gentle but heavy with concern. The string pulls harder at night. You ask why she's come, and she sets the lantern down, its light flickering across the Koto. To tell you something, she says. The string's promise is real, but it's not kind. It gave my daughter what she wanted, but it took her from me. Your breath catches, the pieces of Mizuki's puzzle shifting in your mind. You ask what happened to her daughter, but Yuna shakes her head, her eyes glistening. Another time, she says. For now, rest. The string will wait. She turns to leave, her lantern casting long shadows. You're alone again, the Koto's hum filling the silence, its promise both a lure and a weight. You sit back down, the night settling around you, the string's song weaving through your dreams. You remain seated on the shrine's stone steps, the Koto's hum a constant presence, like a heartbeat in the dark. Yuna's words linger, her story of loss weaving into the night's stillness. The lantern she left behind casts a soft glow, its light dancing across the Koto's strings, making the thick one shimmer like liquid starlight. You feel the strings pull, stronger now, urging you to reach out, but you resist, your hands clenched in your lap. The air is cool, heavy with the scent of earth and pine, and the forest beyond the shrine seems to whisper, its secrets just out of reach. You stand, needing to move, to shake off the weight of the night. The shrine feels alive, its walls holding stories you can't yet grasp. You pace the small space, your footsteps echoing softly. The Koto looms behind you, its hum growing louder, almost pleading. You turn to face it, your heart pounding. What does it want from you? Your grandmother's voice echoes in your mind, her warning about the string's weight mingling with Yuna's quiet grief. You're not ready to touch it, not yet, but you can't leave either. A soft rustle breaks your thoughts. You look toward the torii gate, expecting Yuna or Aiko, but it's Ren, his silhouette framed against the moonlight. He steps inside, his flute tucked into his sleeve, his usual grin replaced by something softer, almost hesitant. "Couldn't sleep?" he asks, his voice low, blending with the Koto's hum. You shake your head, admitting the string's pull keeps you here. He nods, as if he understands, and sits on the steps, gesturing for you to join him. You do, the stone cold beneath you. "You're getting closer," Ren says, his eyes on the Koto. "To understanding, I mean." You ask what he knows about the string, frustration creeping into your voice. Everyone in Mizuki speaks in half-truths, and you're tired of it. Ren chuckles, but it's not mocking. "Fair enough," he says. "I'll tell you what I can. The string was made by a woman named Saya. She loved someone who left Mizuki, promised to return, but never did. She wove her heart into that string, thinking it would bring them back. It didn't." You lean closer, the name Saya settling into you like a missing piece. You ask why the string is still here, why it matters now. Ren's gaze shifts to the forest, his voice quieter. Because Saya's promise didn't die with her. The string keeps it alive, waiting for someone to claim it. But it's not just a wish it grants. It binds you to her story, her pain. You shiver, the weight of his words sinking in. You ask if Saya's still here in some way. Ren hesitates, then nods. In a way, Mizuki holds on to its ghosts. You glance at the Koto, the thick string seeming to pulse in the lantern's light. You ask if Hana or Yuna knew Saya. Ren's expression softens, almost sad. Hana's tied to her more than she'll say. Yuna, too. But that's their story to tell. You press him for more, but he stands, pulling out his flute. "Enough for now," he says. "Let's walk. The shrine's too heavy tonight." You want to stay to demand answers, but his tone is gentle, and you feel the need for air, for movement. You follow him out of the shrine, the forest path opening before you. The mist is thinner now, the moonlight brighter, casting shadows that dance like spirits. Ren plays a soft tune, the notes winding through the trees, easing the tension in your chest. You walk in silence, the Koto's hum fading but never gone. The path leads to the stream, its water glinting under the stars. You pause, remembering the glowing thread you saw beneath its surface. You ask Ren if it was real, and he lowers his flute, his eyes meeting yours. "It was," he says. "The stream's part of it. Saya made the string here, under this sky. The water remembers." You kneel by the stream, peering into its depths. The glow is gone, but you feel its presence, like a whisper just beyond hearing. You ask Ren why he stays in Mizuki, why he's tied to this story. He smiles, but it's tinged with something heavy. "Someone has to guide people like you," he says. "Besides, I made my own promise long ago." You want to ask what he means, but a rustle in the trees stops you. You turn, expecting Hana or Aiko, but no one's there. The forest feels alive, watching, waiting. Ren touches your shoulder, his hand warm. "Don't look too hard," he says. "Some things find you when they're ready." You nod, though your mind is racing. The string, Saya, the stream, they're all connected, and you're caught in their web. Ren leads you back toward the village, the flute's melody trailing behind. The lights of Mizuki blow in the distance, warm and inviting, but you feel the shrine's pull, the strings hum, calling you back. You're not ready to face it yet, but you know you will. Soon. For now you walk with Ren, the night wrapping around you, its secrets waiting to unfold. You remain seated on the shrine's stone steps, the Koto's hum a constant presence, like a heartbeat in the dark. Yuna's words linger, her story of loss weaving into the night's stillness. The lantern she left behind cast a soft glow, its light dancing across the Koto's strings, making the thick ones shimmer like liquid starlight. You feel the strings pull stronger now, urging you to reach out, but you resist, your hands clenched in your lap. The air is cool, heavy with the scent of earth and pine, and the forest beyond the shrine seems to whisper its secrets just out of reach. You stand, needing to move, to shake off the weight of the night. The shrine feels alive, its walls holding stories you can't yet grasp. You pace the small space, your footsteps echoing softly. The Koto looms behind you, its hum growing louder, almost pleading. You turn to face it, your heart pounding. What does it want from you? Your grandmother's voice echoes in your mind, her warning about the string's weight mingling with Yuna's quiet grief. You're not ready to touch it, not yet, but you can't leave either. A soft rustle breaks your thoughts. You look toward the torii gate, expecting Yuna or Aiko, but it's Ren, his silhouette framed against the moonlight. He steps inside, his flute tucked into his sleeve, his usual grin replaced by something softer, almost hesitant. "Couldn't sleep?" he asks, his voice low, blending with the Koto's hum. You shake your head, admitting the string's pull keeps you here. He nods, as if he understands, and sits on the steps, gesturing for you to join him. You do, the stone cold beneath you. "You're getting closer," Ren says, his eyes on the Koto. "To understanding, I mean." You ask what he knows about the string, frustration creeping into your voice. Everyone in Mizuki speaks in half-truths, and you're tired of it. Ren chuckles, but it's not mocking. "Fair enough," he says. "I'll tell you what I can. The string was made by a woman named Saya. She loved someone who left Mizuki, promised to return, but never did. She wove her heart into that string, thinking it would bring them back. It didn't." You lean closer, the name Saya settling into you like a missing piece. You ask why the string is still here, why it matters now. Ren's gaze shifts to the forest, his voice quieter. Because Saya's promise didn't die with her. The string keeps it alive, waiting for someone to claim it. But it's not just a wish it grants. It binds you to her story, her pain. You shiver, the weight of his words sinking in. You ask if Saya's still here, in some way. Ren hesitates, then nods. In a way, Mizuki holds on to its ghosts. You glance at the Koto, the thick string seeming to pulse in the lantern's light. You ask if Hana or Yuna knew Saya. Ren's expression softens, almost sad. Hana's tied to her more than she'll say. Yuna too. But that's their story to tell. You press him for more, but he stands, pulling out his flute. "Enough for now," he says. "Let's walk. The shrine's too heavy tonight." You want to stay to demand answers, but his tone is gentle, and you feel the need for air, for movement. You follow him out of the shrine, the forest path opening before you. The mist is thinner now, the moonlight brighter, casting shadows that dance like spirits. Ren plays a soft tune, the notes winding through the trees, easing the tension in your chest. You walk in silence, the Koto's hum fading but never gone. The path leads to the stream, its water glinting under the stars. You pause, remembering the glowing thread you saw beneath its surface. You ask Ren if it was real, and he lowers his flute, his eyes meeting yours. "It was," he says. "The stream's part of it. Saya made the string here, under this sky. The water remembers." You kneel by the stream, peering into its depths. The glow is gone, but you feel its presence, like a whisper just beyond hearing. You ask Ren why he stays in Mizuki, why he's tied to this story. He smiles, but its tinge was something heavy. "Someone has to guide people like you," he says. "Besides, I made my own promise long ago." You want to ask what he means, but a rustle in the trees stops you. You turn, expecting Hannah or Aisho, but no one's there. The forest feels alive, watching, waiting. Ren touches your shoulder, his hand warm. "Don't look too hard," he says. "Some things find you when they're ready." You nod, though your mind is racing. The string, Saya, the stream, they're all connected, and you're caught in their web. Ren leads you back toward the village, the flute's melody trailing behind. The lights of Mizuki glow in the distance, warm and inviting, but you feel the shrine's pull, the strings hum, calling you back. You're not ready to face it yet, but you know you will. Soon. For now, you walk with Ren, the night wrapping around you, its secrets waiting to unfold. You walk through Mizuki's quiet streets, the village lights glowing softly in the early morning haze. Ren walks beside you, his flute tucked into his sleeve, the notes of his last melody still lingering in your mind. The Koto's hum from the shrine feels like a distant echo, pulling you back, but you keep moving, drawn toward the village square. The air is cool, the scent of dew and cedar wrapping around you. You feel the weight of the night before, Ren's words about Saya and her unbreakable promise heavy in your thoughts. You're close to the truth, closer than you realize, and it's both thrilling and unsettling. The world has gone quiet. Shadows stretch across the walls. Let your thoughts grow soft. A story waits in the stillness. If it brings you peace, like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a night. Now let the story find you. You step into the village of Mizuki, where the air smells of cedar and damp moss. The evening is cool, and a faint mist curls around your ankles as you walk the narrow path. Lanterns sway gently, casting soft pools of light on the cobblestones. You've come here chasing a whisper, a tale your grandmother once told you about, a Koto string that never breaks. She said it was hidden in this village, tucked away in a forgotten shrine, and that it held a power she couldn't explain. Her eyes had sparkled with something like fear when she spoke of it, but you're here now, drawn by curiosity and the weight of her unfinished story. The village feels alive, yet hushed. You hear the distant trickle of a stream and the soft rustle of leaves, but no voices. The houses with their sloping roofs and paper windows glow faintly from within, yet no one steps outside. You adjust a scarf around your neck, feeling the chill deepen as you near the heart of Mizuki. Your destination is the old shrine at the edge of the village, where the forest begins. That's where the Koto string is said to rest, or so the stories claim. As you walk, you notice a figure ahead standing beneath a cherry tree. It's a young woman, her long black hair falling like ink over her pale kimono. She's playing a koto, its notes drifting toward you, low and mournful. Each pluck of the strings feels like a heartbeat, pulling you closer. You stop a few steps away, unsure if you should speak. Her fingers pause and she turns her head slightly, her eyes catching the lantern light. They're dark, endless, and for a moment you feel as if she's looking through you. "You're here for the string," she says, her voice soft as the wind. It's not a question. You nod, your throat tight. She smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. "I'm Hannah. I guard it. But you should know, it's not just a string. It binds things, promises, hearts, even time." Her words hang in the air, and you feel a shiver that has nothing to do with the cold. You ask her what she means, but she only gestures toward the path leading to the shrine. "Follow it. You'll see." You hesitate, glancing at the koto in her lap. Its wood is worn, but the strings gleam, untouched by time. One string, thicker than the others, seems to hum faintly, even though her hands are still. You want to ask more, but Hannah's gaze shifts to the forest, and you sense she's already said too much. You thank her and continue down the path, her music starting again behind you, slower now, like a lullaby for the night itself. The shrine comes into view, half swallowed by vines and shadow. Its red torii gate is faded, but it stands tall, as if daring you to cross its threshold. You step forward, your shoes crunching on gravel. Inside, the air feels heavier, like it's holding its breath. A single koto rests on a stone pedestal, its strings glinting in the moonlight that spills through a cracked roof. You approach, your heart pounding. The thickest string seems to pulse, and you swear you hear a faint note, though no one is playing. You reach out, but something stops you. Not a sound, not a movement, just a feeling. Like the string is watching you. You pull your hand back, suddenly aware of how quiet the shrine is. No birds, no wind, just the echo of Hannah's koto in your mind. You wonder if you should leave, but your grandmother's voice tugs at you. She said the string could grant a wish, but only if you were willing to carry its weight. What did she mean? You glance back at the path, half expecting to see Hannah, but there's only darkness. You decide to stay. The night is young, and the shrine feels like it's waiting for you to make a choice. You sit on the stone steps, the koto looming behind you, its string humming softly. You don't know what's coming, but you feel it in your bones. This is only the beginning. The village of Mizuki holds secrets, and you've just stepped into their embrace. You sit on the cold stone steps of the shrine, the koto's faint hum lingering in your ears. The moonlight spills through the cracked roof, painting the instrument in silver. You can't shake the feeling that it's alive, that the thick string is more than just silk or gut. It calls to you not in words, but in a pull deep in your chest, like a tide urging you toward the sea. You wrap your arms around yourself, the night's chill sinking into your skin. The village of Mizuki feels far away now, as if the shrine exists in its own pocket of time. You stand, drawn back to the Koto. Your fingers hover over the strings, close enough to feel their warmth. You're about to touch the thickest one when a soft laugh breaks the silence. You spin around, heart racing. A man stands at the edge of the shrine, leaning against the torii gate. His dark hair is tied back and his kimono is a deep indigo, blending with the shadows. He's young, maybe a few years older than you, with a smile that's equal parts charm and mischief. "You're bold," he says, stepping closer. His voice is warm, but there's an edge to it, like he's testing you. Most people don't make it this far. You ask who he is, your voice steadier than you feel. He bows slightly, his eyes never leaving yours. "I'm Ren. I live in Mizuki. Sometimes I wander out here to see who the shrine calls." You glance at the Koto, then back at him. Does he know about the string? His smile widens, but he doesn't answer. Instead, he walks past you, circling the Koto like a cat studying its prey. "Hana sent you, didn't she?" He says, his tone light but probing. You nod, unsure how much to reveal. Ren stops, his fingers brushing the air above the Koto's strings, careful not to touch them. She's always sending people here. Thinks it's her duty. But the string doesn't give itself to just anyone. You ask what he means, but he only shrugs, his eyes glinting. You'll find out. Or you won't. You feel a spark of frustration. Everyone here speaks in riddles. You turn back to the Koto, determined to understand. The thick string seems to glow faintly, and you swear it moves, just a fraction, like a snake stirring in sleep. Ren watches you, his expression unreadable. "Careful," he says softly. "Once you touch it, there's no going back." You hesitate, your hand frozen mid-air. Your grandmother's words echo again. The string grants a wish, but it comes with a weight. You ask Ren what the weight is, but he only laughs, low and quiet. That's for you to discover. You lower your hand, stepping back. The shrine feels smaller now, the air thicker. Ren moves to the steps, sitting where you had been moments ago. He pulls a small flute from his sleeve and begins to play, the notes soft and winding, blending with the Koto's hum. You feel yourself relax, despite the questions swirling in your mind. You sit beside him, the music wrapping around you like a blanket. "Why are you here?" You ask, your voice barely above a whisper. Ren lowers the flute, his eyes distant. "Mizuki isn't like other places," he says. "Time moved differently here. People come looking for things, answers, wishes, lost loves. The string promises them, but it always asks for something in return. You press him for more, but he shakes his head. Stay long enough and you'll see." He stands, tucking the flute away. "I'll be around. If you need me, just whistle." He demonstrates a sharp, clear note that cuts through the night. Before you can respond, he's gone, slipping into the shadows beyond the torii gate. You're alone again, the Koto's hum louder now, insistent. You walk back to it, your resolve hardening. You won't touch the string, not yet. But you need to know more. The village, Hana, Ren, they're all tied to this somehow. You step outside the shrine, the mist thicker now, curling around your legs like a living thing. The path back to Mizuki stretches before you, but you feel the Koto's pull behind you, urging you to stay. You take a deep breath and start walking. The night is still, but you sense eyes watching from the forest. Not threatening, just curious. You keep moving, the village lights faint in the distance. Whatever the Koto string is, whatever it holds, you're not ready to claim it. But you're not ready to leave either. The story your grandmother began is unfolding, and you're caught in its threads. You walk the path back to Mizuki, the mist swirling around your feet like a restless spirit. The village lights flicker in the distance, guiding you through the dark. The Koto's hum lingers in your mind, a melody that refuses to fade. You can still feel its pull like a thread tugging at your heart, but you keep moving, the crunch of gravel under your shoes grounding you. The air is heavy with the scent of pine and something sweeter, like fading cherry blossoms. You wonder if Hannah is still playing her koto under the tree, or if Ren is somewhere nearby, his flute ready to pierce the silence. The village comes into view, its houses quiet but warm with lantern light. You pass a small bridge over a stream, its water catching the moonlight like a mirror. You pause, drawn to the reflection. For a moment, you see not just the moon, but a face, pale and fleeting, staring back at you. Your breath catches, and you blink. The face is gone, leaving only ripples. You tell yourself it was a trick of the light, but your pulse quickens. You hurry across the bridge, the village's stillness feeling less peaceful now. You spot a tea house at the edge of the village square, its sliding doors half open, inviting. You need a moment to think, to process the shrine and its strange koto. You step inside, the warmth of the room wrapping around you like a soft blanket. The tea house is small, with low tables and cushions scattered across the floor. A woman stands behind a counter, pouring tea into a delicate cup. She's older, her hair streaked with silver, but her movements are graceful, deliberate. She looks up as you enter, her eyes kind but sharp, as if she sees more than you mean to show. "You're the traveler," she says, setting the teapot down. Her voice is warm like the tea's steam curling upward. You nod, unsure how she knows. She gestures to a cushion and you sit, grateful for the chance to rest. "I'm Yuna," she says, placing a cup of tea before you. Its aroma is earthy, soothing. Mizuki draws people like you, people searching. You sip the tea, its warmth spreading through you, and ask what she means. Yuna smiles, her eyes crinkling. "The string. You've seen it, haven't you?" You hesitate, then nod again. There's no point hiding it. She seems to know already. You ask what the string is, why it feels alive. Yuna leans back, her gaze drifting to the window. "It's old," she says. "Older than Mizuki. They say it was woven from a promise, one so strong it couldn't be broken, not by time or death." You lean forward, your questions piling up. "A promise? Between who?" Yuna shakes her head, her smile fading. "That's not my story to tell. But be careful. The string gives, but it takes too." You press her for more, but she busies herself with another teapot, her silence gentle but firm. You sip your tea, the room's quiet broken only by the soft clink of porcelain. You notice a small koto in the corner, its strings dull with age. You ask if it's hers. Yuna glances at it, her expression softening. "It was my daughter's," she says. "She loved it, played every night, but she left Mizuki years ago." Her voice catches, and you sense a weight behind her words. You don't push, but you wonder if her daughter's story is tied to the shrine. The door slides open and a gust of cool air sweeps in. It's Hana, her kimono catching the lantern light. She nods to Yuna, then looks at you, her eyes unreadable. "You didn't touch it," she says, her tone neutral. You shake your head, feeling oddly defensive. "Should you have?" Hana sits across from you, her koto resting in her lap. "Good," she says. "You're not ready yet." You ask what she means, frustration creeping into your voice. She plucks a single note, the sound sharp and clear. The string chooses, not you. Yuna pours Hana a cup of tea, and the two exchange a glance you can't decipher. You feel like an outsider, caught in a story you don't yet understand. You ask Hana why she guards the string, what it means to her. She hesitates, her fingers still on the koto. "It's my duty," she says finally. "Someone has to." Her words are simple, but they carry a weight that makes you pause. You want to ask more, but the tea house door opens again, and Ren steps in, his flute tucked into his sleeve. "Thought I'd find you here," he says, his grin easy but his eyes sharp. He nods to Yuna, then Hana, before settling on you. "Still chasing the string?" You don't answer, but his laugh tells you he already knows. The tea house feels smaller now, the air charged with unspoken secrets. You finish your tea, the warmth grounding you. You're not sure what's next, but you know you can't leave Mizuki yet. The string, Hana, Ren, Yuna, they're all pieces of a puzzle, and you're determined to fit them together. You thank Yuna and step outside, the night air cool against your skin. Hana and Ren follow, their presence both comforting and unsettling. The village square is empty, but you feel the koto's hum, distant yet clear, calling you back to the shrine. You glance at Hana, then Ren, their faces lit by moonlight. Whatever lies ahead, you're ready to face it, one step at a time. You stand in the village square, the moonlight casting long shadows across the cobblestones. Hana and Ren linger behind you, their presence like a quiet melody weaving through the night. The koto's hum, faint but persistent, tugs at you, urging you back toward the shrine. But something about the village feels different now, as if the air itself is holding its breath, waiting for your next move. You glance at Hana, her koto cradled in her arms, her eyes fixed on the path leading out of Mizuki. Ren leans against a lantern post, twirling his flute, his grin softer than before. You ask them why the string matters so much, why it feels alive. Hana's fingers tighten on her koto, but she doesn't answer right away. Ren, though, steps closer, his voice low. "It's not just a string," he says. "It's a promise that never fades. Touch it, and you're tied to it. Forever." You shiver, not from the cold, but from the weight of his words. You ask what kind of promise, but he only shrugs, his eyes glinting with something unspoken. "Ask Hana," he says, nodding toward her. She knows more than she says. You turn to Hana, but she's already moving, her kimono whispering against the ground as she heads toward the forest path. "Come," she says, her voice soft but firm. You hesitate, glancing at Ren. He raises an eyebrow as if daring you to follow. You take a deep breath and step after her, the village fading behind you. The path is narrower now, the trees closing in, their branches forming a canopy that blocks most of the moonlight. You hear the stream again, its trickle louder, like a whispered secret. Hannah stops at a clearing where the stream widens into a small pool. The water is still, reflecting the stars like scattered jewels. She kneels by the edge, setting her koto beside her. You kneel too, the damp grass cool against your knees. The string was made here, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. Long ago, by someone who loved too deeply. You lean closer, your heart quickening. She traces a finger over the water's surface, creating ripples that distort the stars. They say the string holds that love, keeps it alive, but it asks for something in return. You ask what it asks for, but Hannah's eyes darken, and she shakes her head. It's different for everyone, she says. For me, it's duty. For others, she trails off, her gaze distant. You want to press her, but the weight of her silence stops you. Instead, you watch the water, the ripples fading into stillness. You notice something in the pool, a faint glow beneath the surface, like a thread of light. You point, but Hannah grabs your hand, her grip surprisingly strong. Don't, she says. Not yet. You pull back, startled by her intensity. She releases you, her expression softening. I'm sorry, she says. It's just, you have to be sure. You nod, though you're not sure what she means. The glow in the water fades, leaving only the stars' reflection. You hear a soft whistle behind you and turn to see Ren leaning against a tree, his flute at his lips. The notes are slow, haunting, blending with the stream's murmur. You feel a strange calm settle over you, like the night is wrapping you in its arms. Hannah stands, picking up her koto. You should rest, she says. The string will wait. You want to argue, to demand answers, but her tone is gentle, almost pleading. You nod, standing as well. Ren lowers his flute, his eyes meeting yours. She's right, he says. Mizuki doesn't let go easily. You'll need your strength. You ask where you should go, and he points to a small house at the edge of the clearing, its roof barely visible through the trees. Yuna's place, he says. She'll take care of you. You follow the path to the house, Hannah and Ren trailing behind. The door is open, and Yuna stands there, as if she knew you were coming. She ushers you inside, her smile warm but tinged with worry. The house is small, cozy, with a low table and a futon in the corner. Yuna offers you tea, but you're too tired to drink. You thank her and sink onto the futon, the day's weight pulling you toward sleep. As you drift off, you hear Hannah's koto outside, its notes soft and mournful. Ren's flute joins in, their music weaving together like a dream. You close your eyes, the koto's hum still echoing in your mind. The string is out there, waiting, its promise both a lure and a warning. You don't know what it will ask of you, but you feel its pull, stronger now, like a heartbeat in the dark. Sleep takes you, and in your dreams you see the pool again, the glowing thread beneath the water, calling your name. You wake to the scent of cedar and the faint glow of morning light filtering through the paper windows of Yuna's house. The futon beneath you is soft, but your body feels heavy, as if the night's dreams have left a weight on your chest. You sit up, rubbing your eyes, the memory of the glowing thread in the pool, lingering like a half-forgotten song. Outside, the village is stirring, the soft clatter of wooden shutters, and the murmur of the stream blending into a quiet symphony. You wonder if Hannah and Ren are still nearby, their music echoing in your mind. You step outside, the air crisp and cool against your skin. Yuna is sweeping the porch, her movements slow and deliberate. She glances up, her smile warm but guarded. "Slept well?" she asks, leaning on her broom. You nod, though the dreams of the pool and the string left you restless. You ask if Hana or Ren are around, and Yuna points toward the village square. "They're never far," she says, her tone carrying a hint of warning. "But be careful with them. They're tied to Mizuki, just like the string." You thank her and head toward the square, the cobblestones slick with morning dew. The village feels more alive now, with a few people moving about, their faces kind but distant. You catch glimpses of them watching you, their eyes curious yet reserved. You reach the square where a small market is unfolding, stalls lined with woven baskets and jars of pickled plums. You spot Hana near a stall, her koto resting against her shoulder. She's talking to an older man, his face weathered but kind. When she sees you, she waves you over, her expression softer than last night. "This is Kenta," she says, gesturing to the man. He knows Mizuki's stories better than anyone. Kenta bows, his eyes twinkling with a warmth that puts you at ease. You ask him about the Koto string, hoping for answers that Hana and Ren have danced around. Kenta chuckles, his voice rough but gentle. "You're a persistent one," he says. "The string's a promise, woven by a woman who loved someone she couldn't keep. She bound her heart to it, so it would never break. But promises like that, they come with a cost." You lean closer, the market's hum fading as you focus on his words. You ask what the cost is, but Kenta shakes his head, his smile fading. "Depends on the wish," he says. "The string gives what you ask, but it takes something equal in return. Love, time, memory, something precious." You feel a chill, remembering your grandmother's warning about the string's weight. You ask if anyone has ever claimed it. Kenta's eyes flicker to Hana, then back to you. "Some have tried," he says. "Not all walked away." Hana shifts, her fingers brushing her koto strings, a single note ringing out. You glance at her, wondering what she's not saying. She meets your gaze, her eyes steady but guarded. "Kenta's right," she says. "The string's not a gift. It's a choice." You want to ask more, but a familiar whistle cuts through the air. Ren appears, weaving through the market with his usual grin. "Talking about the string again?" he says, tossing an apple between his hands. You're obsessed. You roll your eyes, but his teasing eases the tension. You ask him why he's so casual about it when everyone else seems cautious. Ren takes a bite of the apple, his grin never fading. "Because I've seen what happens when people chase it," he says. "Some get what they want. Others, well, they don't leave Mizuki the same." You press him for details, but he waves you off, pointing to a path leading out of the square. "Come on," he says. "There's something you should see." You follow him, Hana trailing behind, her koto strings humming faintly as she walks. The path leads to a small hill overlooking the village, where a single cherry tree stands, its branches heavy with blossoms despite the season. You stop, the view stealing your breath. Mizuki stretches below, its roofs glowing in the morning light, the forest beyond a sea of green. Ren sits at the base of the tree, his flute in hand. "This is where it started," he says, his voice quieter now. "The promise, the string, all of it." You sit beside him, the grass soft under you. Hana settles nearby, her koto in her lap. You ask what he means, and he plays a soft note on his flute, the sound weaving through the air. The woman who made the string, he says. She stood here under this tree and promised to wait for someone. Forever. You feel a pang in your chest, the story stirring something deep within you. You ask who she was waiting for, but Ren only shakes his head. That's her story, he says. Not mine. Hana plucks a note, sharp and clear, cutting through his words. Enough, she says, her voice firm. She's not ready for that yet. You look between them, frustration bubbling up. Why are they hiding so much? You stand, brushing grass from your clothes, determined to find answers. The shrine calls to you, its pull stronger now, like a thread tightening around your heart. You tell them you're going back, and Hannah's eyes soften. Be careful, she says. The string knows what you want, even if you don't. You nod, the cherry tree's blossoms swaying above you. The village below feels like a dream, and you're not sure if you're waking up or falling deeper into it. You start down the hill, the Koto's hum following you, a reminder that the string is waiting, its promise both a lure and a warning. You descend the hill, the cherry tree's blossoms fading behind you, as the village of Mizuki comes back into view. The Koto's hum lingers in your ears, a faint pulse that seems to match your heartbeat. The air feels heavier now, thick, with the scent of moss and the promise of rain. You're drawn back to the shrine, its pull stronger than ever, like a thread tugging you through the mist. Hana and Ren don't follow, but you feel their eyes on you, their unspoken warnings hanging in the air. The path to the shrine is familiar now, the cobblestones slick beneath your shoes, the forest closing in around you. You reach the red torii gate, its faded paint glowing faintly in the dim light. The shrine feels different today, as if it's been waiting for you. You step inside, the air cool and still, the Koto resting on its stone pedestal like a silent guardian. The thick string gleams, its surface catching the light in a way that makes it look alive. You approach, your breath shallow, the hum louder now, vibrating through your bones. You want to touch it, to unravel its secrets, but Hannah's words echo in your mind. The string knows what you want, even if you don't. You sit on the stone steps, needing a moment to think. The shrine is quiet, but it's not empty. You sense something, a presence just out of sight, like a shadow moving in the corner of your eye. You turn, but there's nothing there, only the Koto and its humming string. You close your eyes, trying to clear your mind, but images flash behind your lids. The glowing thread in the pool, Hana's guarded eyes, Ren's teasing grin, Yuna's wistful smile. They're all connected to this string, this promise. But how? A soft rustle pulls you from your thoughts. You open your eyes to find a young girl standing at the edge of the shrine, her kimono pale as moonlight. She's no older than 12, her hair tied back with a red ribbon. She holds a small bundle of flowers, their petals wilting slightly. You're here for the string, she says, her voice high and clear, like a bell. You nod, surprised by her directness. She steps closer, her bare feet silent on the stone. I'm Aiko, she says. I come here sometimes to listen. You reach the square where the market stalls are just beginning to stir. Aiko stands near a stall, her small figure almost lost in the crowd. She waves you over, her red ribbon bright against her dark hair. You're back, she says, her voice light but her eyes sharp. You nod, glancing at Ren, who's leaning against a post, watching you with that half-smile of his. You ask Aiko if she knows more about the Koto string, hoping for a clearer answer than Ren's cryptic hints. Aiko sets down a basket of herbs, her hands quick and careful. It's Saya's string, she says. It holds her heart, her promise. But it's not just hers anymore. It carries the wishes of everyone who's touched it. You frown, asking what she means. She looks at you, her gaze older than her years. The string binds you to your wish, she says. It gives you what you want, but it keeps a piece of you. Forever. Your chest tightens, the memory of the glowing thread and the stream flashing in your mind. You ask if Seiya's still bound to it. Aiko hesitates, then nods. Her promise never broke. Neither does the string. Ren steps closer, his presence warm and grounding. She's right, he says. Saya's love was so strong it wove itself into the string. It's why it sings, why it pulls you. It's her still waiting. You shiver, the weight of Saya's story settling over you. You ask if touching the string will bind you to her. Ren's smile fades, his eyes serious. It binds you to your own promise, he says. Whatever you wish for, it becomes part of you, like a vow you can't break. You glance at the path to the shrine, feeling the Koto's hum, and wonder if you're ready to face such a bond. Aiko tugs at your sleeve, her small hand surprisingly firm. Come with me, she says, her voice soft but insistent. You follow her through the market, Ren trailing behind, his flute now in hand, playing a soft, winding tune. Aiko leads you to a narrow alley lined with old houses, their wooden walls weathered but sturdy. She stops at a small gate, pushing it open to reveal a garden filled with wildflowers and a single stone lantern. This was Saya's place, she says. She lived here before the string. You step into the garden, the air thick with the scent of flowers. The lantern is unlit, but its surface is carved with delicate patterns, like ripples in water. You kneel beside it, your fingers brushing the cool stone. You feel a faint hum like the Koto's, but softer, more mournful. You ask Aisho if Seiya's still here in some way. She nods, her ribbon swaying as she sits beside you. She's in the string, she says. In the stream. In this garden. She never left. You look around, the garden feeling alive, as if Saya's presence lingers in the petals and the air. You ask Aiko how she knows so much, and she smiles, her eyes bright. I listen, she says. Mizuki tells its stories to those who stay. Ren stops playing, his flute lowering as he leans against the gate. She's right, he says. The village keeps its secrets close, but it shares them if you're patient. You want to ask more, but the hum from the lantern grows stronger, pulling your attention. You stand, feeling the weight of Saya's story pressing against you. The garden is peaceful, but it's heavy with memory, with promises unbroken. You ask Ayako if you should go back to the shrine, if you should touch the string. She shakes her head, her expression serious. Not yet, she says. You have to know your wish first. The string will ask for it, and you can't lie. Ren nods, his usual grin gone. She's right, he says. Think hard about what you want and what you're willing to give. You thank Aiko, your mind racing with questions. The garden feels like a pause, a moment to breathe before the string's pull grows too strong. You step out, Ren and Aiko following. The village square is busier now, The market alive with voices, but you feel apart from it. Ellison. System. It looks like you may have posted the same chapter twice. Did you mean to request chapter 9 by sending K again? If so, here is chapter 9. If you meant something else, please clarify, and I can provide the correct response. You leave the garden, the hum of Saya's lantern fading behind you as you step back into Mizuki's bustling square. The morning light bathes the village in a soft golden glow, but the weight of the Koto string's pull lingers in your chest, a quiet song that won't let go. Aiko and Ren walk with you, their presence a strange mix of comfort and mystery. Aiko's small hand brushes yours as she skips ahead, her red ribbon bouncing while Ren trails behind, his flute silent but his eyes sharp, watching you. You feel the village closing in, its secrets pressing against you like the mist that clings to the cobblestones. You head toward Yuna's tea house, needing a moment to gather your thoughts. The door slides open with a soft creak, and Yuna greets you with a warm smile, her silver-streaked hair catching the light. "Back so soon?" she says, setting a cup of tea before you as you sit. You nod, the warmth of the cup grounding you. Aiko sits cross-legged on a cushion, her eyes bright with curiosity, while Ren leans against the wall, twirling his flute. You ask Yuna about Saya, hoping she'll share more than the others. Her smile fades, her hands pausing over the teapot. "Saya was my friend," Yuna says softly, her voice heavy with memory. "She loved someone who left Mizuki for the city, promising to return. She waited years, but he never came back. So she made the string, poured her heart into it, believing it would call him home." You lean forward, the story pulling you in. You ask what happened to her. Yuna's eyes glisten, and she looks away toward the small Koto in the corner. "She faded," she says. "The string kept her promise alive, but it took her life. She became part of it." Your breath catches, the weight of her words sinking in. You ask if the string is dangerous, if it could take you too. Yuna shakes her head, her expression gentle but firm. "It's not evil," she says, "but it's honest. It gives what you ask, but it demands truth in return." You sip your tea, the earthy warmth steadying you, and glance at Aiko, who's watching you with those two old eyes. You ask her what she thinks. She tilts her head, her ribbon swaying. "The string wants to help," she says. "But you have to be sure." Saya wasn't. Ren steps forward, his voice low. "Most people aren't," he says. "That's why we're here. To make sure you don't rush in." You look between them, frustration bubbling up. "Why are they all so protective?" You ask, your voice sharper than you mean. Ren's grin returns, softer now. "Because we've seen what happens," he says. "Saya wasn't the only one. Others have touched the string, made wishes. Some got what they wanted. Others didn't." You press him for more, but he shakes his head, his eyes serious. "You'll see soon enough." Yuna pours more tea, her movements slow and deliberate. "My daughter touched the string," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "She wished for freedom to leave Mizuki. It worked, but she never came back. The string took her heart." Your chest aches, the pieces of Mizuki's puzzle falling into place. You ask if the string always takes so much. Yuna's smile is sad. "Only what you offer," she says. "But most don't know what they're offering until it's gone." You set your cup down, the weight of their stories pressing against you. The Koto's hum feels closer now, like a thread wrapped around your heart. You stand, thanking Yuna, and step outside, Aiko and Ren following. The square is alive with villagers, their voices a soft hum, but you feel apart from them, drawn to the shrine. You tell Aiko and Ren you're going back, and Aiko grabs your hand, her grip tight. "Think about your wish first," she says. "It has to be true." Ren nods, his flute still in his hand. "We'll be close," he says. "Just whistle if you need us." You nod, the path to the shrine stretching before you. The forest feels alive, its whispers blending with the Koto's hum. You walk alone, the cobblestones cool beneath your feet, the air thick with the scent of pine. The shrine appears, its torii gate glowing faintly in the morning light. You step inside, the Koto waiting, its thick strings shimmering. The hum fills the air, a song of longing and promise. You stand before it, your heart racing, knowing the moment is near. The string is waiting, and so is Saya, her story woven into its threads. You stand before the Koto in the shrine, the thick string gleaming like a vein of moonlight. Its hum fills the air, a soft, insistent pulse that seems to know your name. The morning light spills through the cracked roof, casting delicate shadows across the stone floor, but the shrine feels timeless, as if you've stepped into Saya's world. Your heart pounds, the stories of Mizuki swirling in your mind, Yuna's loss, Aiko's warnings, Ren's cryptic truths, and Saya's unbreakable promise. The string waits, its song both a lure and a challenge, asking you to decide what you're willing to give. You take a deep breath, the air cool and heavy with the scent of moss. Your fingers hover over the string, trembling with the weight of the choice. You think of your grandmother, her whispered tales of the Koto string, her eyes bright with something like hope. She said it could grant a wish, but only if you carried its burden. You close your eyes, searching for your wish. What do you want? Love? Truth? A connection to something larger than yourself? The hum grows louder, as if the string is listening, waiting for your heart to speak. You hear footsteps behind you, soft but deliberate. You turn to see Hana, her kimono pale against the shrine's shadows, her Koto cradled in her arms. Her eyes are steady, but there's a softness in them you haven't seen before. "You're here," she says, her voice like the stream's murmur. You nod, your throat tight. You ask why she's come, and she steps closer, her fingers brushing her Koto's strings, a single note ringing out. "To see what you choose," she says. "The string's been waiting for you." You frown, her words stirring a question. "Why you?" "You're just a traveler, drawn here by a story." Hannah smiles, faint but warm. "Saya was like you once," she says. Curious, searching. She made the string because she believed in something bigger than herself. You're here because you believe too. Your chest aches, the weight of Saya's story pressing closer. You ask if the string will take as much from you as it did from her. Hannah's gaze softens. "Only what you offer," she says. "But you have to be honest." You turn back to the Koto, the strings hum now a melody, weaving through your thoughts. You think of everyone you've met, Yuna's quiet grief, Aiko's bright eyes, Ren's teasing warmth. They're all tied to this string, to Saya's promise, and now so are you. You reach out, your fingers brushing the air above the string, feeling its warmth. The hum grows louder, almost singing, and for a moment you see her, Saya, her face pale and serene, her eyes full of longing. She's not a ghost, not a shadow, but a presence woven into the string's light. You pull your hand back, your heart racing. You're not ready, not yet. The string's promise is too vast, its cost too unclear. You step away, the hum softening as if giving you space. Hannah watches, her expression unreadable. You'll know when it's time, she says. You nod, grateful for her presence, and step outside, the forest air cool against your skin. The village of Mizuki stretches below, its lights warm and inviting, but you feel the shrine behind you, its song lingering. You walk the path back to the village, the cobblestones familiar now, like an old friend. The stream murmurs nearby, its water catching the light, and you pause, remembering the glowing thread beneath its surface. You kneel, peering into the depths, but the glow is gone, replaced by your own reflection. You smile, realizing Mizuki has changed you. You came for a story, but you found a world, a tapestry of promises and hearts. The string is still there, waiting, but you know now, your wish isn't ready, and neither are you. You stand, the village square coming into view. Aiko waves from a stall, her ribbon bright, while Ren leans nearby, his flute playing a soft tune. Yuna stands at her tea house door, her smile warm. They're all part of this, part of you now. You wave back, feeling lighter, as if the string's weight has eased, if only for a moment. Mizuki hums around you, its secret safe for now, its story yours to carry. Some stories stay with us long after the words fade. Let this one rest beside you. Sleep deeply. And if it returns in your dreams, perhaps it was never truly gone.